I was fired and made the company lose over £100,000. So I used to work at a family-run builders merchants and was a trade sales advisor. I was fired for bringing up health and safety concerns in an email sent to a manager and for the fact I was apparently unhappy in my role. I did nothing wrong, but they still sacked me. Now when I worked there I had clients that I had built good relationships with and even become friends with some of them. They would get me beers and whiskey at Christmas or have BBQs and so on outside of work. Anyway, back to the revenge. I was fired, which in my opinion was unfair, and it was during this COVID-19 pandemic. I had worked the entire way through it until I was fired. So I wanted revenge. I contacted multiple clients, friends, and most of them say okay, we won't use that company if they treat the staff the way they did to me. One client easily spends over £100,000 a year easily in the top 3 customers they had. He used them because I would get him the best prices, etc., etc. As soon as I'm fired I call him and let him know what happened, and he straight away promises not to use them again. So big middle finger to the owners of that S. I hope you learn to treat your employees better or go under. Slight update, just reading comments. I did contact ACAS, they are investigating. Health and safety executives did visit and told them to put a few things right but nothing else. I did have video and photo evidence of one accident actually happening and many other issues. I don't have a copy of the email, but ACAS can find it on their internal mail system as it never truly disappears. Also, any clients I contacted were friends. I didn't contact a huge list of clients, just a handful, letting them know I no longer worked for the company. They ask why I got fired and I gave them an honest answer. I did not ask them to stop using them, as at the end of the day if they offer the best prices they would still use them, but that's not the case. Please tell me you have buddies at your old job to be able to give us an update when the time is right. As soon as I read family-run builders merchant, I knew it was gonna be a story like this, lol. From my experience, most family-run businesses and trades like builders, landscapers, plumbers, etc. give zero fucks about health and safety or abiding by employment laws. What you should have done is logged the email you sent and reported them to ACAS and the HSE. They will just continue the cycle unless people start standing up for their employee rights and reporting stuff like this in future. If this happens to you again in another similar job, document everything and get evidence, back yourself up before you say anything. Now, start your own company and keep the clients. Not only will that be a slap in the face to your old job, but you'll make bank. I work in the print industry and was made redundant at the end of October due to financial reasons. Literally 15 minutes before I got the phone call telling me that I was being made redundant, I had received an email from a customer telling me that 2 jobs worth £25,000 that had been kicking around for months were definitely coming my way. I explained this to my boss and he said that he was sorry about it, but there was nothing that he would do. I worked bloody hard to get those jobs in a tough economic environment and was pissed off that all my hard work would benefit a company that dumped me. So I immediately rang the customer to tell them that unfortunately I wouldn't be the person guiding these jobs through the process, knowing that my experience and relationship with the customer was the reason I had got those jobs. They said that they would immediately cancel the jobs and go elsewhere. I know for a fact that they did this as one of my old colleagues rang me and said that the management were absolutely gutted to have lost those jobs. The irony is that if they'd have kept me for another working day, then the PO and artwork would have been received and the jobs would have been in progress. With that I know with 100% certainty that my company would have just kept me until those jobs were complete. And then got rid of me. Oh well. Onwards and upwards. I start my new job with one of my old company's biggest competitors. Just 2 miles down the road. On Tuesday, I got fired from a tech support job for a telco. Boss didn't have the authority to fire me, and it was a personal issue between him and I, which would have given me unfair dismissal avenues. I'd lined up a new job within an hour of being fired. His boss called me an hour later to tell me I hadn't been. New job started in 6 weeks, so I agreed to come back. I knew they wouldn't fire me as they were scared of an unfair dismissal suit. For 6 weeks, every customer I dealt with, I told them the error was caused by the modem and that they should have gotten a recall notice, and for the inconvenience I'd upgrade them to a Wi-Fi modem. Wi-Fi was fairly new then. Used to average 10 calls an hour. 7.5 hours a day. 5 days a week for 6 weeks. I don't know how much those modems even cost, I just knew they weren't cheap. Contact HSE. If you have that email, so much the better. If they're doing that sort of turnover, then $100K will hardly dent their bank balance. They'll just take it out on the remaining employees. People like that never suffer themselves. You need to get health and safety, and the VAT involved is odds on they're dodgy, and if they find anything, then that will really hurt them. Okay, sign. You should also check with your local Department of Labor to see what options are available for you. Legally, I'm no lawyer, but I'm pretty sure it's illegal to fire someone for bringing up health and safety concerns. From what I understand, even if they say that they fired you for being unhappy in your role, the fact that it happened after the email for health and safety issues may be enough. This is assuming they don't have something concrete and documented to fire you for, like attendance issues, or a history of poor work, or something like that. The small, quiet one are always the most dangerous. 1970s. An old engineer mate of mine here in Australia worked for an English company that sold production lines for canning and bottling to breweries. They shafted him on $27,000 commission for several sales back when that would buy you a house. Old engineers stick together. Needless to say, in next 2 years the company made no major sales and precious few minor ones. And that, my friends, was the end of D0. So it might be too late, but depending on where you live, you may have grounds for a wrongful termination lawsuit. Firing you directly after you brought up safety violations is illegal in most of the U.S. Definitely something to look into if I were you. They didn't lose £100,000, they lost a potential contract. If their health and safety is bad, put in a call to HSE. If they are happy for their staff to be potentially injured or die, fuck 'em. I work at Wicker and I've never had too many issues with health and safety or bad management. However, my partner works at Screwdix and he's had to take 3 months health leave because of how badly they treated him. You said that you were fired for bringing up concerns about the health and safety. Why didn't you also call the inspector, or what they are called, to make a visit? Lovely and simple way to get revenge. Hope they continue to lose out on money. Considering your close relationships with these former clients, have you considered opening your own business and bringing these clients on board as your first clients? If you have evidence that you rose a health and safety complaint and then were with no other performance issues, then that's enough to take them to a tribunal for unfair dismissal. Get in touch with a CAS and HSE and get them fucked. Check the laws in your state province and see if you can sue for unlawful termination. If you're in a big city, it shouldn't be hard to find a lawyer willing to take the case on for no up-front fees. If you lose, you don't pay, but if you win, they take usually 30 to 40% of the winnings. But hey, if you win $40,000, you still get to keep $24,000. Of course, a fake this all goes out the window if you're in a right to work state or whatever they call it. You could see if you have a claim to also get money for being fired for that. I don't think necessarily litigation. Not a lawyer here, but why not try? And there could be other companies that offer the same prices. People also like working with likable companies. A lot of the time it will be dependent on best prices. Generally, good practices are good too. Businesses are run by people.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.